Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Suhei with Suhei Plans. And in today's video, I am sharing with you my journey in using the Hobonichi Hon in the A5 size. If you're new to this channel, I enjoy creating planning and stationery content as well as on Instagram and TikTok. But in today's video in particular, I am talking about this Hobonichi Hon A5 planner and my journey, my evolution, and my process, having first started in 2024 with all of the intention to continue using it into 2026. I want to take you through what's been quite a wild and bumpy ride, but why, despite all of that, I am coming back to the Hobonichi Hon in 2026. If that sounds of interest, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe video so that you can be alerted for more videos just like this one. I really enjoy talking about my process with my planning and journaling, so that's what I kind of intend to do with this video. So grab a cup of joe, grab your Stanley, and let's jump in. Okay, so I started with the Hobonichi Hon in 2024. This was also my first Hobonichi product. I absolutely adored this botanical minimalistic print. And I was really actually attracted to the hardcover of it all because I really wanted a journal that could stand up to the test of time. Unlike my planners, I mostly throw them away at the end of each year for the most part, unless I want to refer back to a particular size or a particular planner that I want to reference. So I'll keep it for research purposes, but otherwise I'm moving on. But I want to hold on to something to help me look back on my year. And so that's what I wanted to do with the Hon. In this 2024 version, I did daily journaling as well as goals and goal planning. And I did that because while I felt the daily pages would be great for journaling, I felt really guilty not using the weekly spreads or the monthly calendars. And so I decided, okay, I'll just shove goal planning into this as well. And honestly, I think that's exactly where I went wrong. So I'm going to move these two other books to the side just so that we can jump into this one and zoom in a little bit. Let me move it to this side where I have some better natural light coming in from this window. Okay, so let me find a spread. I have so many spreads that I enjoy in this one. So I was using, like I said, I was using these daily pages for journaling. And that was great. But I did feel a lot of guilt about these underutilized weekly spreads and monthly calendars. So I decided that I would do some goal planning in these other pages. And I think that was going well. It's very decorated, as you can see. I was tracking workouts. I was tracking stationery spending. I was tracking a bunch of things in the monthly calendar. I was using the weeks to write the weather and note some of my intentions for the day related to my goals, whether they were fitness or something with my family or saving. I was documenting that in these weeks. And that was going well for a little while, but I got really exhausted and really tired of keeping up with so much. And probably around, let's see. Yeah, probably around summertime, things really started to fall off the wagon. And I think, and you can see these are June spreads. And I think where I went wrong here is that I associated the fact that I wasn't working in here with me not liking this planner. And in hindsight, many months, over a year later, I think summer is just a time where I need a break from planning and journaling. It really wasn't about this book. I just needed to take a break, especially with goals in the summer. I really tried to just kind of chill, enjoy my summer. Kids are out of school, work has slowed down. And so I'm not as super focused on my goals, and that's okay, and that's so healthy. But I think I associated that bit of a burnout that I felt with all this upkeep with the planner when it really wasn't, and it was just me. And so in around June, the weeklies I stopped, and I pretty much gave up on those through the end of the year. And then the same thing happens in the monthlies. I think the last month I have filled out fully is the month of June. And then after that, I kind of just ran out of steam. Even though I ran out of juice with the goals and the intentions that I was doing with this planner, I stayed committed to what its number one purpose really was, and that was to daily journal. And so in the beginning, I definitely was a little bit more motivated. My spreads were a little bit more thought out. I had a lot more deco going on. I tried to make things a little bit more visually appealing. And that was going so well, and I loved all of that. And I absolutely love looking back on these pages. I'm so glad that I was at least mostly consistent there. I'm going to just kind of keep flipping through these pages. You know, I'm doing a lot of different things. As you can see, I love kind of like column orientation here. Some days there's a lot of writing, some days there's not, but pretty consistent in the early parts of the year. Let's jump back to around June when the weeklies kind of stop. So even though the weeklies kind of fall off for me, I'm still fairly consistent with the daily journaling. It stops getting as pretty, and that's okay. It stops getting as pretty, but the point wasn't to, the point was to keep journaling, keep journaling, keep journaling. And so I kind of dug my heels in, and I kept trying to do that, even though I had fallen off the goals wagon with this particular planner. And I am so glad that I kept it up, because I definitely really enjoy looking back on this planner, on this journal. I feel like the entire month of July is empty here, and that's okay. And I became less consistent, so there are a lot more empty pages towards the second half of the year than there were in the first half of the year. It gets a lot less decorative, and all of that is absolutely fine. I am just so glad that I kept it up. Yeah, I'm really, really glad that I kept this up. Let me see if I can find a couple of things of particular note. So when I was thinking about 2026, I pulled this book out of my cabinet and I flipped through it, and I tried to remember what it felt like to plan in here and to journal in here. And when I flipped to this page, when we got the results of the election and I got my first Louis Vuitton cover, I was like, wow, 2024 was an interesting year, some highs, some lows, and everything in between. But I'm so glad that I'm able to pick up this book, flip through it, and just remember good and bad times in my particular life. I'm a nostalgia junkie, so I love looking back on things, reading through old journals, and I'm just so glad that I continued to work in this. But I think what happened is that when it was time, when the end of 2024 came around and 2025 selections were here, I said to myself, oh man, you know what? I stopped using the weeklies. I stopped using the monthlies. I wasn't consistent with every single page. This must not be the right journal for me. And so I overlooked. I totally just did not pick up a 2025 Hobonichi Hon at first. So time moves along, and I am planning and goal setting in Power Sheets and in other books, and in Moxie Life also for 2025. And I start journaling in a take a note. Then I start journaling in a notebook. Then I leave the notebook, and I am just like so completely frustrated that I have not gotten, like, I'm not in a journaling experience that I enjoy. So then around the time that Hobonichi announces its 2026 releases, I pull out this 2024 and I'm like, wait a second. I don't think I should have ever left this book. And we're talking 65% of the year. This is August, is already done. But I went ahead and bought this gorgeous 2025 Hobonichi Hon with the little fox with the moon tethered to his bicycle. It's like a nighttime view. And I picked this up on sale on Amazon Prime. And all of those emotions and all of the joy that I felt from using this, I knew I needed again. And so despite having been more than a half of the year being over, I picked up the 2025 Hobonichi Hon. It is not going to end up looking like this guy does, right? Because a lot of the year, most of this book is empty. And I'm okay with that. But let's talk about this one now that we're here. So, and let's do some comparisons with 2024 because they are going to help me think about 2026. So what I've done, having learned what I learned from using this in 2024, I am using this in 2025 more intentionally, and I'm not letting it overwhelm me as much as it did in 2024. So I didn't bother doing a vision board because we're so like late into the year, and so that's fine. I was initially using the quarterly calendars here for habit tracking, but I think instead for 2026 and for what I'm doing for 2025 is that I'm using this as a memories index. So for example, okay, so in March, on March 12th, we had a wonderful family trip to the aquarium. And so this is a great way for me to quickly look over significant happenings in a year. And I've color coordinated them using the Moxie Life Goal Planner system of markers because they are by category. And so I think that would just be a great way to like quickly scan for big things that happened in any particular month in that year. Because I think this is a pretty low-hanging fruit, I went back and filled out things from January, even though I didn't pick up this book until August. I think what I'm trying to figure out for next year, and I think I did it here, is I'm thinking that I don't like all the color. And I think I maybe want to stick to either using a gray mild liner, a beige, or a pink mild liner. I'd love to know in the comments which one of those three marker colors you think makes the most aesthetically appealing page. While I kind of, I do like the fact that this is color coordinated by category, that's really not the point. The point is just to stop as I scan and try to remember quickly why that day is an important day in the year of my life. So I think I want to go with a more neutral look here. So one of those three colors, and I have them here, will be what I decide to do for my memory index. But I definitely want to make this an index for my memories. All right, so moving on to the monthlies. So again, none of these monthlies are completed until really September, because I really didn't get this Hobonichi until the end of August. So I just figured I'd just start clean in September. And what I'm using this for is gratitude logging. One daily gratitude written into each box of the month, just a little bit of decoration. And that's quite different than how I was using the monthly spread when I was doing goals. And I think that's okay. And I'm truly, honestly, not completely convinced that this is how I want to use the monthly spread. I'm also thinking about, other ways to use it. Do I want to read these daily gratitudes in 10 years? I'm not sure what the answer is to that, but I'm trying to keep that question, like, do I want to read this in 10 years or 20 years or whatever? And so I'm not sure if I want to look at my daily gratitudes. I just don't know how much they mean without more context, if that makes sense. So I'm still thinking about how I want to use the monthly spreads. I think for October, I'm going to try doing, instead of daily gratitudes, in October this year, I'm going to do daily wins. Like, what were some wins that I experienced on any individual day? And I will try to always find at least one. And I think that that would be really motivational to see. And so I'm going to try that for October to see if I want to continue that into 2026. And I may also do a different idea in November and then do something different in December and then figure out how I want to use this monthly spread for the 2026 version. All right. So like I mentioned, the weeklies were very much focused on goals and intentions in 2024. And most of these weeks are empty, but when around the time I did get the planner, the Hobonichi, I started just using these weekly pages as notebook pages. So just my random thoughts, just writing things down. And that's kind of what I've been using it for. I don't love that purpose. I don't think I'm going to want to read about which planners I wanted to buy 10 years later. Maybe I do, but I don't know. I think I'll have better things to do. So I'm not sure that this is what I want to use the weekly pages for. And if at the end of 2025, I have not figured out what I want to use them for, I'm going to absolutely embrace that. And I'm just going to leave them blank for 2026. And it's going to be okay. One of the things that I'll say about Hobonichi is that I know there are more and more planners coming out that have a very similar layout and very similar styles. But there is a uniqueness about this product that I don't feel anyone else can quite beat. The paper is absolutely one, but also the aesthetic beauty of these pages, of these covers. There is such a emotional response when I take these covers out and put them on my desk. They are so whimsical. They are so happy. Plus the paper is so enjoyable to use. I don't think that there's a lot of other planners that have this layout that are giving me that kind of joy factor. And so it is what it is, and this will continue to be my journal. So now let's flip to closer to the month of August. So I got this planner at the end of August, but I did go back. Let me zoom in a little bit. I did go back and journal on, because initially I thought I'm going to be so disciplined that I'm going to go back in time and I'm going to fill out these daily entries with really important things from that day. And when I really sat down and thought about that idea, I was like, oh my gosh, no way. It's just too much. And I just need to let it go. So moving forward, I'm going to be really consistent in having this be something I do every day. But I'm not going to worry about trying to go back and backfill from March. It's okay. I'm going to let that go and we're just going to move forward. And then, so let's see. So then I've done a couple of pages, like backlogging. And then probably around the 27th of August is where I think I've received the journal. And now I am daily planning in it. I'm sorry, daily journaling. Or maybe after, I don't know. But point is, late August, early September. And I've been daily journaling in this ever since. A lot of fun deco, stickers, a lot of different things. Whatever I have at hand is going in here. And I have loved it so far, and it's been so much fun. This was last night's entries, wins today. And I just wrote some things. And I think this idea inspired the calendar doing daily wins because I really enjoyed this. And just writing some of the things that I kind of aced in that day, so to speak. But I'm just using this in different ways. Some days there's a lot more writing. Some days there's less. Look at my ugly crybaby version, my granny edition, I call her. And just some like things that I've been focusing on. And when I got my 2026, I was so excited. I didn't get a job that I really wanted. So a lot of things. And even though I don't have anything to say for these months here, I am super excited to move forward and end the year on a high note. So one other thing I wanted to show you, and I think you might have gotten a little peek there, is that one of the important traditions in using the Hon was using the turning the page to a new year spread to reflect on the year prior. I actually did this spread in my take a note journal, but I ended up leaving the take a note. It wasn't working for me. And I did this same thing in the 2024 book to reflect on 2023. And I really wanted to carry that over into 2024, and I'll definitely be carrying that over into 2026. And if you'd like, you're welcome to take a screenshot right now of these 15 questions that I like to ask myself as I think about the year that just passed. Things like, what was your most favorite place you visited? What's an achievement you were proud of? What's something you learned to do? And so I made sure to copy this over into this book because, again, this is something that I'm planning to keep on my shelf well into the years and decades to come. And so I'm hoping, and I feel confident that Hobonichi will continue to be able to offer the Hon, and that as the years go on, I can continue having a Hon, a Hobonichi Hon in my collection, so that, you know, year after year, I have these beautiful, sturdy, hard-covered books filled with my day, my life, and things that I've experienced. And I think I got way too discouraged. I'm sorry about the shaking. I got way too discouraged by the blank pages. I got really discouraged that something I was being so consistent about ended up not working out. And I mistook those feelings and those failures as this whole book failing, and I am realizing that was so misguided, and really there is a lot to gain and love about using this. Even if things didn't work out, even if there are some blank pages and some spreads that I can't quite figure out to do, I think in the planner community especially, we're always like, and I think this is a wonderful thing that we share, how to use my weekly spread in the Hobonichi, how I'm using my monthly calendar, and I think those ideas are so great, but I just want to remind everyone that you have the power to do nothing with them as well. It's okay for them to be blank. That's fine. I love these books so much, and how beautiful they are and whimsical. Like, are you kidding me about this galloping horses cover? Are you kidding? Like, it's so gorgeous. It's so fun. I don't care if my weekly spreads end up being empty this year, because my daily pages are going to be full of things that I love. And I am going to just adore opening and looking at this book every single day. And so I am really excited to finish the year strong in here. And I'm super excited to, start 2026 in this book and really returning to journaling in this way, because I really missed it. I really enjoyed it. And the feeling, the satisfaction that I got from looking back on this was so satisfying. And I would love, look at that, y'all. I would love to just feel this way when I pick up my 2025 and so on and so forth. All right, so folks, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you if you've made it this far. I am going to be sharing all of my 2026 planners as they arrive, so stay tuned for more. Thank you so much for watching, y'all, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Have a good one.